ATEM Mini is here, and Blackmagic Design has packed a ton of great features into this amazing little switcher. At under $300, there is no switcher in the world that delivers as much as the Mini, proving Blackmagic's dedication to providing professional-grade equipment at consumer-friendly prices. Even though it's just a 9 by 4 inch control surface, the Mini also has the incredible benefit of being controlled using the ATEM software control application. Any change you make on the panel will be reflected on the software and vice versa. One of the first things you'll notice about the Mini is its carbon fiber build, which gives it a nice weight and feel. The Mini has 4 HDMI inputs for cameras, computers, or media players. A USB-C port outputs a 1080 HD webcam signal designed specifically for live streaming. This is perfect for YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitch, and even Skype. When your ATEM Mini is plugged in through USB-C, it will be recognized by your computer as a webcam. Then, when you go to set up your stream, like on YouTube, all you need to do is select the ATEM Mini in your stream settings. This port also lets you connect to the ATEM software control. If you want to connect your Mini to a network to access the application, you can use the Ethernet port. This is also essential if you need to communicate with Blackmagic HyperDecks. The HDMI output is an aux output. You can select a preview, program, or ISO camera sources. The Mini also has two 3.5mm microphone inputs. Okay, so let's connect a couple video sources to the ATEM Mini so you can see how it works. The top surface is thoughtfully laid out with backlit rubber keys that allow you to access your essential features. On the bottom you have your 4 source buttons, one being this overhead shot that we have right now, and 2 is the ATEM software control, which is running on my laptop. You also have still, black, and then to the right cut, auto, and FTB, which of course means fade to black. Above the cut button you have your transition duration buttons, so 0.5 seconds up to 2 seconds. And next to that are your transition effect buttons, so you have mix, dip, push, squeeze, and your 2 wipe buttons. Above that you can toggle on and off your upstream key. And to the left you have your picture-in-picture preset buttons, so you can turn that on, and then you can choose which corner of the screen you want your picture-in-picture to be. The rest of the buttons on the panel are dedicated to adjusting audio levels. These buttons here allow you to change the level of your embedded audio sources. You can also toggle on and off these audio sources, and you can also use audio follow video. Above that are the buttons to adjust your microphone input levels as well, and you can turn those on and off directly on the panel. In the ATEM software control, you have 3 main tabs that let you run your production virtually. The switcher, which is obviously here. You also have the media pool, and you have your full audio mixer. There are a couple places inside the ATEM software control where you can adjust settings. If you go up to the top, you can access the Preferences menu. Here you can change the IP address of your panel, and you can also switch transition control from Program Preview to AB Direct. If you want to adjust the mapping of your switcher, you can. For instance, if I go to button 4, I can switch that to actually control input 1 on my switcher. On the bottom left is the settings menu. Here you can change your video standard. Right now I have mine set to 1080p 2997, but you can change it from 1080p 23.98 all the way up to 1080p 60. You can also change the labels that appear on your ATEM software control application. Here's where you can set up communication with any available HyperDecks. So if you have a HyperDeck connected to the same network as your computer and your ATEM Mini, all you have to do is enter the IP address of your hyperdeck, hit connect, and you can now communicate with that hyperdeck. So if you go over here to Media Player, you can remotely control your hyperdeck so you can stop and start recording and adjust your playback settings as well. The top bar is also where you can access your macros menu and where you can choose your source for your HDMI output. You can select between all of your ISO camera sources, program, and preview. The switcher, unlike the surface of the ATEM Mini, has full program and preview banks and has a T-bar that allows you to transition your video. The media player page gives you slots for loading 20 different stills. These can be full-size JPEGs like title screens, which I have here, or PNGs like bugs and lower thirds. If you have a title screen or image loaded into the media player like I have here, I can use the still button on my ATEM panel. I can also use an effect if I want the transition to be a little bit more interesting. If you have a bug or lower third that you want to overlay onto your program, you need to use the Downstream Keyer. I can go back over to the Switcher tab and select Downstream Key under the palettes. I want Media Player 1 to be loaded in my fill source and my key source to be Media Player 1 key. Now if I go over to the DSK section here, all I have to hit is the auto button and it will bring my lower third onto the screen. I can hit auto again to remove it. Under the palette tab, you can also do a number of other great functions. You can use the color generator, which you can access directly on the ATEM software control. So if you want to bring up a solid color onto your program, you can. This is also where you can adjust your transitions. I have the full access to my transitions. Here's mix, dip to color. You can also choose from a number of different wipes. And you have the DVE, which allows you to choose between a number of different push and squeeze effects. The palette tab is also where you will access the upstream keyer. You can do luma keying, chroma keying, pattern keying, and you can use the DVE. Pattern keying is where you can make some creative split screens and windowed video effects. So for instance, if I wanted to have a circular video window on my program, I can just select a circle. I want camera 1 to be the fill source, and I can go over to the upstream key section of the ATEM software control and hit on air. Now you can see that I have my overhead shot on top of my program. The DVE is where you can adjust picture-in-picture settings. Right now I want to change my fill source to camera 1, which is my overhead shot. And then if I go back over to the key and hit on air, you can see that I have the picture-in-picture up on the screen, and I can adjust the size of my picture-in-picture, and I can also change the location of it as well. If I want to key out a green screen, I'll use Chroma Keying. The fill source is going to be your shot that has your green screen in it. You can select the color of your green screen by going down to Chroma Sample. This box represents your shot, and you can move this little cursor around to find the color of your green screen. You can then make key adjustments, chroma correction, color adjustments. You can add a garbage mask or a flying key. And all you would have to do is then go on air with the upstream key, and you will have a keyed out green screen. The last section of the ATEM software control is the audio tab. This is a full mixer that includes all of your embedded audio sources, your 2 microphone inputs, and you have a master fader here which allows you to make adjustments to all of your levels. You can even adjust your headphone level at the bottom. If I wanted to toggle on my embedded audio through camera 1, all I would have to do is hit the on button. And then on the ATEM mini panel, I can raise or lower the audio level using the buttons right on the front. If I want to do audio follow video, I can hit the AFV button. I can also toggle the channel off if I don't want it to be in my mix. Finally, it's important to know what macros are and how to use them. Macros are completely customizable presets that can make a simple or complex sequence of commands on your switcher automated with the push of a button. Just as an example, if I hit this button here, I have told the ATEM switcher to scroll through all of the preview sources and then switch to our main camera and then back. This is a fairly simple macro, but they can handle a number of complicated actions. There are two sections in the macro menu. One is for creating and editing macros, and the other is for playback. When you go to create a macro, you will have to title it first. I'm going to call this Macro 1. Now, any function that I do on the ATEM software control or on the ATEM mini panel itself will be recorded to this macro. I can even add a pause between actions. First, what I want to do is I want to add a lower third to my media player. Go back to the switcher, and I'm going to add a 1-second pause. Next, I want to transition to my overhead camera shot, so I'm going to hit the auto button, and then I'm going to add another pause, this time for 2 seconds. And now I want to bring in my lower third, so I'm going to hit the auto button. And I want this lower third to be up for 5 seconds, so I'm going to add a 5-second pause. And now I can transition it out. I want to add another quick pause for 2 seconds. And now I want to switch back to the ATEM software control. Now I want to just hit the record button again to end the recording. Now I have a recorded macro. If I want to play back this sequence, I can go over to the Run tab, hit Macro 1, and hit the play button. It's sequences like this that you really benefit from using macros. If you're running a live production, you want to be able to just push one button to do many tasks. When you're done with a production and you want to save your settings, graphics, and macros, you can go up to the File menu and hit Save. I hope you guys enjoyed this overview of the brand new ATEM Mini and that you can find ways to incorporate it into your workflow. For more information on this product or any of the Blackmagic design products, please check out our website at onesourcevideo.com or contact your OneSource Video account executive. Thank you for watching.